Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's edition of Weekly English Idioms with me, Teacher Tiffany. Now, we're going to jump right into our lesson for this week. And as always, we are going to learn 3 new English idioms. So, here we go. Our first English idiom is no spring chicken. And one more time, no spring chicken. Now, this just means no longer a young person. So I want you to think about someone who's in their 50s and maybe they're trying to hang out with their grandchildren or even their children, and they're out playing sports and they realize, ooh, I got a kind of an ache in my back. They realize that they're no longer as young as they used to be. So we can say, hey, you're no spring chicken. You're not as young as you used to be. Kind of makes sense? All right, so let's look at the examples, and it says, here we go. Sally is no spring chicken, but she plays a fine game of tennis. Basically, what we're saying is that even though Sally is not young, she still is pretty good at tennis, okay? All right, next we have this one right here. You aren't a spring chicken anymore, or you aren't young anymore. And finally, he is no spring chicken. All right, so makes sense, right? You can use this idiom very, very easily and in many different situations, okay? All right, let's move on to our next idiom. We have off the top of my head, and this means without careful thought or investigation. So again, off the top of my head. So let's say, for example, you said, hey, Teacher Tiffany, do you know what the weather is today? Now, I haven't looked at my phone or even online to check what the weather is, but I can say, off the top of my head, I think it's about 45 degrees outside. So I didn't really think about it carefully. I didn't really do any investigation. I just kind of guessed. So we say off the top of my head. All right. So here are some examples. Here we go. First, I can't think of any good examples off the top of my head. Next, I don't know off the top of my head, but I could go and look it up. And finally, just off the top of my head, I'd say he is about 50. Again, I'm guessing. I don't know for a fact. I haven't done any research, but I think he's about 50. Kind of makes sense? All right, now moving on to our next idiom. The next one we have is on the tip of my tongue. Again, on the tip of my tongue. Now, this is used to indicate that someone is almost but not quite able to bring a particular word or name to mind. So let's say, for example, you say, hey, teacher, do you remember your favorite teacher when you were in high school? And I say, yes, I do. Man, she was amazing. Man, what was her name? What was her name again? I'm trying to think about it, but I can't remember, but I can see her face and it's on the tip of my tongue. So I can't remember exactly, but I can kind of see who she is. Make sense? All right, so let's see the examples, and it says, here we go. Her name is on the tip of my tongue. Next, it was on the tip of my tongue. And finally, his name is on the tip of my tongue. All right, so we learned 3 new English idioms. Now remember, what I want you to do is in the comment section, I need you to make an example sentence using the idiom. So there are 3 idioms, which means I need you to make 3 sentences. All right, so put it in the comment section. And remember, keep studying English. I'll talk to you next week.